Hey, what's up, guys? Thank you for joining me today. My name is Dr. Tom LaHue, and we are going to be looking at Enneagram Type 7, and specifically the blind spots of Type 7. We're going to be working our way through a little list in one of Beatrice Chestnut's books, and just see where it takes us. Before we get started, in the description below is a link to my website, tomlahue.com, and I'm available for coaching appointments. My schedule is pretty full, but you can make an appointment there, and I'd love to hear from you if you want to talk about the Enneagram, or how we can get to a healthier place in life or healthier relationships. That's what it's all about, and knowing yourself better and not letting your weaknesses get the best of you. One of the greatest strengths you have is to know your weaknesses and to not let them overtake you. So I want to thank all my patrons. I really appreciate your continued support for this channel, and thank you guys for believing in me and in this channel, and I really appreciate that. All right, so let's talk about Type 7s, and I'm qualified to speak on this one, being a 7, wing 6 myself. I've had a lot of time to think about what 7ness is, good, the bad, the ugly. Every type has strengths and every type has weaknesses and potential pitfalls or dangers. 7 is not immune from that. Many times in my appointments with people, they'll say, "I wish I was a 7. 7s are so much fun. 7s are so positive, and it would be great to be a 7." And it is. I mean, I'm glad to be a 7. If I had to pick, another type, I don't know what I would pick. I'm happy to be a 7. I'm glad to be a 7. And, but it does have its potential weaknesses, just like any type. It has its potential problems. And so let's talk about some of those blind spots. 7s, tend to be very positive people. They tend to want to focus on the bright side. They don't like being stuck. They don't like being bored. They don't like painful things. They tend to want to lighten the mood. 7s are a fear type, and so you could say they're afraid of really feeling their feelings. You could say they're afraid of missing out. They're afraid of being stuck in an unsatisfying place in life. 7s literally just want to be satisfied. Their sin is gluttony, because that they may never feel like they're satisfied. They're always wanting more. They're idealist. This could be a better experience. This could be, a better time if everybody would just, go along and up the energy. 7s can spend a lot of energy being focused on whatever it is they're focused on. Now that sounds kind of strange, but it literally is kind of the roll of the dice as to what the 7 is going to be focused on this month, or focused on the next 3 months. And once that 7 gets focused on that, whether it's mountain bikes or jet skis or stamp collecting or national parks, whatever it is, it could even be a topic. Some, in my world, theology topic, or anything. It could be anything. Whatever that 7 is interested in right now, or into right now, is a way of helping them escape from boredom. They want their mind to be focused on something, and it may seem like at times as a 7 that you can't get your mind to focus on other things except what you want to focus on. Like everything, every waking moment, every waking minute, you want to devote to whatever that new, exciting interest or hobby is. Maybe even every extra dollar might go to that new, exciting interest or hobby. So 7s might look like they bounce around a little bit on the surface, gaining expertise in something and then moving on to something else. Never really settling down on anything. Wanting to keep relationships very surface level, not wanting to deal with difficult conversations with people or difficult topics with people. 7s, could be at times shallow or come across shallow, surface level to other types. But they're staying positive. They're trying to stay positive and trying to stay upbeat and energetic and enthusiastic and entertaining and all those positive things that, from my perspective, seem like positive things, maybe not to other types. But let's look at some of the blind spots of the 7 listed in this book, and we'll talk about them and see if they make sense. Blind spot number 1 for a 7: how the quest for fun and positivity and pleasure is driven by a need to avoid pain. That's a blind spot for 7s. I agree. As a 7 myself, when I read that the first time, that 7s are trying to avoid pain, that didn't make a lot of sense to me. I thought, I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure that really makes sense. I never thought of myself as trying to avoid pain. I was focused more on what I was chasing after, and I wasn't really thinking about what I was running away from. That's a powerful thought, not just for 7s, but for all of us, is we tend to see in front of us what we're headed toward, but we may be obscure to us what we're moving away from. The shame types, for example, the fear types, the brokenness of this world for the anger types. So we may not be aware that we're trying to move away from sadness or depression or heavy, weighty thoughts, serious things, boring things. 7s may not realize that their pursuit of whatever interest they're in is serving at times as a means of distracting themselves away from other things they may not want to focus on that may seem weighty or heavy or painful. 7s may not be aware now other people might see it. Other people might see it, that 7s are running themselves out of energy, trying to chase after fun, positive experiences, pleasurable things, that they're kind of, in a sense, making themselves miserable, trying to make themselves happy. And 7s are relentlessly reaching for that brass ring of happiness. And it's amazing how, constructive and destructive we'll become to try to reach for that brass ring of happiness, and how miserable we might make ourselves and others, and how many bad life choices, negative life choices we might make, like spending your money or spending your savings or not getting your oil changed and not paying your bills or being late on bills. Not eating right, because all of the energy goes to the next fun, the next grass is greener, the next big idea. And so 7s may at times sort of neglect the need to things of life or the have to things of life. And that's why we're related to the 1, because we need that 1 energy of doing the right thing and being responsible and making sure that we ask those important questions of what needs to be done today, and am I willing to accept that list of what needs to be done, not just what do I want to do or what feels good for the moment. We're also related to the 6 because we need that 6 fear, that 6 caution to slow us down and make sure we're not getting disconnected from people in our pursuit of what's new and our pursuit of what's next, that we stay connected to people, that we plan and not just daydream, that we actually think ahead and plan ahead and make sure that we're not just impulsively jumping and leaping at the next big opportunity or the next big adventure, that we've got that 6 wing that cautions us and slows us down and keeps us connected to others. We got that 1, that pathway to 1 to be responsible and to do the right thing and make sure that we've covered all of our bases and that we're not neglecting our responsibilities and that we're getting done what needs to be done. Okay, so let's keep going. What else? Distracting themselves from uncomfortable feelings. Yeah, by that fast pace that we want to live by, that desire to have a good time all the time, that can be a blind spot for 7s. I think about like that song. Of course, I'm a kid from the 80s. I was a teenager in the 80s, and so I think of the song like Everybody Have Fun Tonight by Wang Chung. Man, that's 7 stuff. I think about Looking for Nothing But a Good Time by Poison. That's 7 stuff. I mean, it's just been working, and now it's time to just have a good time. It's time to just relax and have fun and laugh with people and cut up and just have a good time. And that seems like, why wouldn't everybody want to do that? All right, so next, number 2, the blind spot number 2 is 7s might be blind to the fact that there is a value that comes from pain and a value that comes from discomfort, and that can be a way to connect to deeper emotional truth. Yeah, I would say that is a blind spot. Naturally, I would avoid that in my own natural, if I wasn't aware of this and, discipline myself to see the value in it. It would be hard for me naturally to say that pain can be a good thing. Pain should be avoided. Pain should be, like C.S. Lewis said, pain is God's megaphone into a deaf world. If you can't get somebody's attention in any other way, maybe God will let you go through some stuff that's painful to get your attention and to realize you're not in control. 7s don't want to, that's not where we're comfortable. I think healthy sevens could go into a world of pain and bring joy into that despair. Unhealthy 7s are just going to try to run away from pain. Unhealthy 7s are going to do everything they can do to get up out of this and move toward a better that. They will abandon, flee, run, skip, skedaddle out of wherever they're at in order to get to a better there. They're going to get away from pain, and boredom feels like pain. Tedious paperwork and all that feels like pain. We're with the 9s on that, Nobody wants to sit there and do that boring paperwork, that tedious stuff. Paperwork. I think 9s can handle boredom a lot better than 7s, but I mean that tedious paperwork stuff, it feels like it's never going to end, and it's, anyway. So I think that 7s are going to have a hard time sitting with difficult moments, and they're going to want to get up and escape out of that. Whatever that is, whether that's sitting in the nursing home with mom, or whether that's looking through the photo album at the at the kids growing up, or whether that's even watching a sad movie, is nope, we're not doing this, not going there, not letting this happen. Let's change the subject. Let's move on. But there's a value in allowing yourself to experience that grief or that loss, or working through that boredom, keeping your rear end in the seat long enough to finish the project no matter how boring it gets, disciplining yourself to get things done and to get things finished. There's a great feeling of accomplishment at the end of that, but it's difficult to do. It's not easy to do. So 7s kind of have that idea that like nothing good could come from feeling bad. So why go there? Why let yourself? But there is an upside into going through pain. It'll make you a deeper person. It'll make you a more connected person to your own emotions. It'll help you identify with other people's pain. When other people are going through a painful time, you go to the 7 to like distract you away from it, right? Well, that doesn't have to be the case. I mean, if 7s can sit through pain and allow themselves, and I do just mean sit there. People are like, when I have appointments with people, they'll be like, what, you mean just sit there? Just sit there and let yourself experience pain? Yeah, that's what I mean. Just sit there. Not, don't turn the music on. Don't distract yourself with the TV or the magazines or the phone. Just sit there and let yourself lean into and feel that pain. It's cathartic, it's good for you. And as a 7, you feel like you're going to get stuck in it. Like, well, maybe I won't be able to come back out of this. Of course you can come back out of it. And you'll be able to better minister to others or help others when they're in suffering, rather than, oh, well, this is getting too heavy. Well, I just need to get out of here. Well, they can't get out of their pain. So what you mean is I'll just abandon them in their pain, because I'm not willing to go there, because it's unpleasant for me to go there. I'm sorry for your tough luck that you have to go through this. You can't get away from your disease, but I can, so bye. I mean, when I allow myself to sit with difficult things and sit with pain, it better helps me to be able to sit with others and to be present, keyword, be present with them and to help them. Okay. And again, a healthy 7 is going to be present in people's pain and bring joy into it. When I give up on this chase and pursuit for happiness and can realize, go to 5, we're connected to 5, that I don't need anything outside of myself in order to be content and happy other than food, shelter, and water, the basic essentials. When I don't need something else to make me happy, I can be happy with anything. And when a 7 realizes that they can be happy with anything at any time and they don't need anything, they can bring that happiness now into the world and bring that joy, which now is joy because happiness depends on all the circumstances being correct in your life. Joy doesn't depend on that. Joy says, in spite of the way life is going right now, I can choose to be happy. I can choose to demonstrate happiness even though it may not be natural or the expected response to the circumstances I'm in right now. And that 7 can then bring that joy into this painful world. And that's an awesome thing. That's an awesome thing. All right, let's see. What else? The impact of others, the impact on others of your relentless focus on what's positive. Yeah, so number 3, 7s want to focus on what's positive. They want to focus on the best. They want to focus on what's good. And, that's going to make us sometimes be at odds with people. It's going to make us sometimes look very shallow to people, like we're missing the bigger picture. That relentless desire to, well, maybe this isn't such a bad thing. Maybe this will work out for good. Maybe losing my job wasn't so bad. I wasn't really happy with that job anyway. And now I have an opportunity to apply for this other career that I've been thinking about. And I really am ready to move and leave this city. But there may be other people in your life that are being left behind. And they might feel like, wow, you don't really even care about us. You're ready to pack up and go. Or you don't care that we have to leave all of our friends and our life here in this city because you're focused on the positive and that's all going to work out great. It might keep you from really planning the details of what needs to be done, 6 wing, because, it's all going to work out great. I'm sure I'm going to land on my feet and it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine, and I don't really mind. It's okay. But what about the rest of the people that are with you that now have to adjust to this life transformation, this life change, moving, leaving their friends, leaving the city that their home, and you're going to sound like you're downplaying the significance of it, and they might be thinking, wow, dad doesn't care, or mom doesn't care that we're all having to leave our home and leave our friends, and the next town's going to be great. You're going to love Phoenix. You're going to love Seattle. It's going to be wonderful. Well, I'm going to miss, Ohio, and I'm going to miss all my friends. Oh, come on. It's an adventure. That might sound like you're not taking their feelings seriously, which you're probably not. If you're a 7, you don't want to take feelings seriously, your own or anybody else's. And it may come across like you don't care. Like you don't care about their feelings because you're not willing to just cry with them and say, I know, honey, I know it's going to be hard and I'm so sorry that it's worked out this way. And it might keep you from standing up for what's right. Oh, well, it's fine. It's no big deal. It's okay. It's all right. I don't mind. Well, maybe you should lean on your 8. 7s have access to 8 and lean on your 8 and go back into that workplace and say, this is wrong. This isn't fair. This is worth fighting for. But I'm a 7. I'm supposed to bring joy into the world. Yeah, but you need to be balanced between your wings. That cautious, planning 6, that careful 6 that wants to be connected, and that bold, strong, say it like it is, don't beat around the bush 8. 7 needs both of those wings to be balanced. Okay, getting off subject here a little bit. So the perception that you're a lightweight and not very serious. And, fives, we have that connection to five. Fives are serious. Fives aren't lightweights. Fives want to know the information and they want to be seen as an expert on that information, especially the totem five. They want the totem symbol that they are an expert. They know what they're talking about. Sevens, like myself, I love, diving in and going deep and getting an understanding of it, but I do want to keep it very practical. I don't get, even like with the Enneagram, I don't get really interested in all the philosophical meanderings, the dusty, crusty, musty books. I want to focus on how is this going to help me? How is this going to help people? How does this help me understand people and relate to them and help you? And then broadcast that, get that information out so people can live a better life. But that will keep me at times from getting to the deeper nuances of things. And then I'll have the fives, and sometimes the four-wing fives, will call me and they'll say, do you know about this deep metaphysical aspect of the Enneagram? Have you ever heard about this concept? And I'll say, honestly, I've never heard about that. Oh, it's fantastic. You're missing out. You need to know about this deep. And I'm like, okay, I'll look into it. But sevens do kind of live up on the surface. But that's where the people are, right? That's where the people are. Most people are at the surface. And sevens like people. They like bouncing around to people. Like Tigger, they like to bounce around with people and relate to people and spread that positive energy with people. But of course, that positive energy could come across to some as trite, as superficial, and we probably are at times. I'm not afraid to look at the negative side of any type, especially sevens. Sometimes it's hard to trust somebody who only wants to look at the positive side of things. So again, there's that six wing. That six wing, is willing to look at the negative side of things and to expect the worst. Sevens want to focus on the best, on the positive. It's going to work out great. Well, a six might look at you and say, man, this guy, he doesn't really see the whole picture here. He's not paying attention to all the details. He's going to get blindsided. I don't know if we can trust him. I don't know if we can follow him. That six wing is right there for the seven to balance us, to say, yeah, we need to be the positive side, but we also need to look at the negative side and take those facts into consideration before we make this decision as well. So seven's right there to balance six, and six is right there to balance seven. Okay. All right, number 4, your own ability to deal with uncomfortable emotions. All right, well, I kind of think I've already talked about that. That feeling of being trapped is a negative feeling to sevens. Sevens want freedom, so, we can be a little anti-authoritarian, not in a directly rebellious way, unless we have a strong 8-wing. Strong 8-wing, we might be a little more direct and bold in our confrontation. It's more like I think of Fresh Prince, bantering with whatever authorities might be in his life. I tell you, I'm getting old. I'm referring to 80s music and 90s TV shows. But that's sort of like, come on, man, it's going to be great. And trying to befriend, because that's one of our strengths is friendliness, right? So trying to befriend those authority figures as a way of navigating around them so that they don't restrict us and, bind us. I remember when my first job was as a dishwasher in a bakery, and it was a big bakery, and it was actually just a big store deli and everything. But I ended up got this first job as a dishwasher, and I did it for a year, so I'm pretty proud of myself. A 7, locked in a dish room. At first it wasn't so bad because there were other guys that worked with me, and so we would laugh and cut up and turn the radio on loud and wash dishes, But eventually the other guys moved on, and I found myself in the dish room by myself. Now, I didn't know anything about the Enneagram, but I knew that wasn't fun. I felt like I was trapped, like I was stuck. And I would come out every once in a while and talk to the other people that worked in the bakery. I remember one day the manager of that bakery said, "You get your butt out of that bakery, out of that dish room one more time, you're going to be fired." And I was like, oh man, this is like a prison sentence, Good thing is, positive side. The good thing is that next day he got fired for something he was doing wrong. And so a new manager came in, and immediately I made friends with that guy. I made friends with him because I realized real quick, I need this guy to be on my side, or I'm going to be stuck in this dish room, isolated from everybody else, washing dishes all day. This is not how I want to spend my life. And so I made friends with the new manager, and when he asked what I did, I said, well, I wash dishes, but sometimes I also make cupcakes, and sometimes and I gave him a list of other things that I did from time to time, and I got my way out of that dish room pretty quick by friendliness, because I didn't want to be stuck in that dish room. And so sevens, might treat authority like that, as befriend them in order to get them to not restrict our freedoms and limit us. One last thing here, she says, the positive aspects of slowing down and being present with your experiences, no matter what you're experiencing. So sevens can move so fast and so rapidly from one thing to the next that they might miss the value of slowing down and really being there, really being in that moment. Being at that game with your kids, or being at that movie, or being at that amusement park, or whatever it is, being with that family gathering and just relating to people, and not, I got to run into town and check out that new item that I've had my eye on. I've got to run across town and check out that new, I got to go on the computer and look up this interesting thing, or watch these videos on all this stuff I'm into now. Just letting those impulses pass in the moment and returning back to that moment and saying, no, here I am. I'm here right now, and I'm available to the people that I'm with right now, and I'm going to give it my attention, and I'm going to bring joy. I'm going to choose to have joy in this moment and bring that joy to others. All right, thank you guys, and I appreciate you. I'll see you next time.